What's going on, everyone? So the other day, we got a big blockbuster trade, and James Harden was officially sent to the Los Angeles Clippers after months of just drama and chaos. And James Harden going to the Los Angeles Clippers definitely was a big oh, look at the Clippers now. James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, right? They still have some depth. This team is going to be very good. Right? You got James Harden, a big sexy name, added to a bunch of other big sexy names, and you got the sex appeal, right? But a lot of proportion is being blown on the idea of James Harden going to the Los Angeles Clippers. Many syndications have James Harden going to the Clippers as now the Clippers are the favorites to win the NBA title. And I just don't buy that and believe that's the case. Now, could they win an NBA championship this year? Absolutely. Right? Again, they have plenty of talent. On paper, they have a star-studded roster. But we have seen that doesn't always translate well. And James Harden isn't 2017, 2018 James Harden. If this was 5 years ago, lock it in, give the Clippers the NBA championship right now. Because nobody's beaten that team. But this isn't that team. James Harden isn't that player that was, Houston Rockets prime James Harden. They don't have prime OKC Russell Westbrook. They don't have a Indiana Pacer Paul George or, San Antonio Spurs Kawhi Leonard, right? They have so many issues and so many concerns with this roster still. One, there are three big stars, all have a lot of just ailments, right? Kawhi Leonard and Paul George can't stay healthy. And they are two guys that year after year aren't even healthy enough to play in the playoffs. And then James Harden completely disappears in the playoffs. I do think James Harden helps tremendously during the regular season. Because one, again, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to miss lots of time. Got a guy in James Harden that can go and put up numbers, kind of keep your roster afloat, keep you winning games with both or either missing. Russell Westbrook is Mr. Playable. He's gonna play as many games, maybe even all 82. So you're gonna be able to weather the regular season a lot better than you have been in the past, right? And look, if everything clicks and everything is firing on all cylinders and stuff, then yeah, I don't doubt that the Clippers will be very good. And maybe we do get to the point where they are the clear-cut favorites. We're not there yet, right? There is still a lot that this team has to get together and figure out. I still don't think they're better than Denver overall. I still don't think they're better than Boston or Milwaukee or, many people even have the Warriors above them. I think they might be a little better than, I'm not super sold on the Warriors, but the Warriors are one of those teams that you just can't rule out. The Suns, the Suns are still winning even without Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. I know that they had that just huge blunder against the San Antonio Spurs yesterday, but that was a game that they absolutely should have won. And when they come back, they have more firepower. The Clippers match up well against a lot of those teams, don't get me wrong, but they're not as good defensively. They also got rid of a lot of their size. And there's a big difference because I have seen Clipper fans try to argue, they still have plenty of size with, coffee and, things. It's not the same, right? This is a championship or bust team. This is a championship team that has gone all in the hopes to finally claim a title for an organization that has been to one conference finals their entire tenure, their entire existence. Right? So them losing guys in Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, those are veteran guys that have been there and done that have the understanding of playing a role, playing big, have already defended the Kevin Durant's, the Kawhi Leonard's, all of those guys game in and game out, day in and day out, hundreds of times over the course of their careers, right? They are players that you can rely and trust on when the game is on the line, when things are hot, when things are in trouble, right? When you need that guy to step up. Coffee is not those guys. Brown is not those guys. Miller and D-Bates and stuff, like those aren't those guys. Now, don't get me wrong, the Clippers still have good depth. You have your Russ, Harden, Kawhi, Paul George, Zoo. You still have Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, Plumlee. You do still have guys like Coffee. I'm not saying Coffee and them can't have like an impact and be good, but you lost a lot of size. Like, one of the reasons the Clippers matched up well against a lot of teams is they just had so many guys and bodies out on the perimeter that they could throw at people, right? Also, their offense was really clicking. Clippers were number one offense so far. I mean, it's been 4 games, but still, they have been very efficient. And a lot of that was Robert Covington and Batum and those guys just hitting shots. Now, I do think James Harden is going to help, and that will continue, but you lose defense, right? And you got to be able to play both sides of the basketball. And these have to work. James Harden is going to be the third option. Is he going to be willing and okay accepting that? Is he going to be okay when Kawhi Leonard gets the basketball and he's the only one touching the basketball in that sequence? Right? There is no swing in it. There is no giving it up. Paul George is a little more willing to share and make plays, but Russell Westbrook, when he's in the game, is Russ going to be okay with coming off the bench? Because that's probably what's going to happen. If it doesn't happen immediately, it's probably happening at some point. And is James Harden going to be okay when Russ and him are on the court together? That, Russell Westbrook does the things that he does. And look, Russell Westbrook's been great for the Clippers. Great. He's had the most efficient, tenure of his career with the Clippers. He has been fantastic for the Clippers. And it's because they were a team that was built for Russell Westbrook. They can run wide. You have all the shooting, everything, right? Well, you got rid of a lot of that. I mean, you still have some, right? But now you have a lot of just ball handlers that need the ball, that are used to having the ball, that now have to adjust and figure it out. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit here on the Clippers being the best team. It's also possible they're worse. And I don't think that'll be the case, but it's not that far-fetched. Again, they lost a lot of size. They lost a lot of defense. Right? They lost a lot of shooting. Like, James Harden can shoot the basketball, don't get me wrong. They also have a lot of guys, as I mentioned, that need the basketball in their hands or that are used to having the basketball in their hands. Even guys like Bones Highland and Norman Powell and stuff. And Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. And now you're just adding another guy that's huge, and you're trading 3 guys that are used to playing off the ball and not having the ball in their hands and being able to be effective without it. There is a real possibility that the Clippers take a bit of a step back here. I don't think that they're going to be terrible. I don't think that they're going to be bad. I don't think it'll be anything huge. I think they will be pretty good, but I wouldn't be shocked if they start losing games as soon as James Harden gets here, just because it takes them a while to figure it out. If they figure it out and it works and everyone's healthy, they are going to be one of the better teams in the league without a doubt. But also, is James Harden even in shape? Right? The Sixers ended up having him go home and go and practice and train because they wanted him to get in shape and get ready for actual gameplay. And then they ended up trading him. There was talks before they traded him to the Clippers that James Harden wasn't ready, that he was sabotaged, that he did one practice, but then completely disappeared from the team. And also he's in LA. This is a guy that loved to just go to Vegas in the middle of a Philadelphia playoff series. And now he's 4 hours away. He's an hour flight. And now he's in LA with all just the club scene and the, clubs and women and all. It's not like this dude is laser focused about winning the game of basketball, right? There's a lot that goes into this. This isn't oh, the Clippers got James Harden, and now, Clippers are far and away the best. No, they still have like 5 or 6 teams that could easily eliminate them. I think the Lakers still match up way better. I mean, we'll get a decent look tonight, but we won't get to see a full-fledged, so we won't have like a real understanding. But one of the reasons the Clippers had beaten the Lakers 11 straight times was, one, all of their size, all of their perimeter guys, all the bodies that they could throw at LeBron James and Anthony Davis and all that stuff. And now they gave up a lot of that stuff. And the Lakers this year have the size, even before the James Harden trade, had the size and the versatility and all that stuff to match up. So you have, the Lakers, you have the Nuggets, no particular order, but the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Suns, right? Many people think the Warriors too. Some people have Sacramento, but I'm still not really sold on Sacramento. I think that they're a very fun, young team. And I've been pretty on the nose with Sacramento last year, definitely. I mean, I called it to a T. But I think Sacramento's still a little bit away. But so let's say you got at least 4 or 5 teams in the West that I think are more than capable of still beating the Clippers. And then you still have the Bucks and the Celtics. So there's at least 6 or 7 teams that are at least in the conversation with the Clippers. Like, the Clippers aren't that, even if let's say they are better than all those teams, they're not going to be much better than all those teams. It's not going to be Kevin Durant with the Warriors, where it's like, man, like, these guys are absolutely unbeatable. And that's giving them the benefit of the doubt that the Clippers can actually stay healthy and play. And James Harden shows up in the playoffs, because we know he loves to just completely disappear. And that's not even calling, Paul George got the nickname Pandemic P, Playoff P, because he had his struggles in the playoffs. Right? Like, he's been known to just completely disappear. Right? So there's a lot that goes into this. Again, Clippers will be good. I just don't know how good. And I don't know how much better it makes them. I think over the regular season, they're going to be a lot better. Just because, again, like, instead of a bunch of role guys kind of trying to keep you afloat, you got a guy in James Harden who is dynamic. He can make plays. He led the league in assists last year, right? And he usually shows up in the regular season. Like, you can pretty much count him in on getting you 20 and 10 game in and game out, right? And then when Paul George and Kawhi are not in the games, you're going to have James Harden who's going to go off for like 40 those games, right? So you're going to have James Harden who can absolutely just light it up, torch people. So in the regular season, they're going to be very good, right? They're going to win games. They're going to be solid. But this is kind of like a complete push your chips to the table. Let's go for the win here, which is fine. That's good, right? Clippers don't really have any other option. They don't really have much of a future as far as like assets and stuff go. They've put all their chips to the table. You might as well just go and get James Harden, figure it out, make it happen, right? But I'm not super sold on them. I think that they're going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to see how this plays out with them. But I don't think that they should be anywhere close to the favorites right now. If you want to put them in the conversation as a team, because again, even before James Harden, could they have won the championship? Absolutely. I mean, you still have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and that Clippers team, when they are healthy, are very good. But it's one of those things, like, I can't believe in you until you prove me wrong. Like, every year, the last 10 years, it's been the Clippers' year, dating back to Lob City. Every year, the Clippers are hyped by the media as going to do X, Y, and Z. And every year, they're either a second-round exit, struggling to make the playoffs, or they're a play-in team, or they miss it entirely. Every year, that's been the case. I mean, they've had years where they were clearly the best team, get into the playoffs, and just completely crumble. And so, why would I think you're going to do something different? That's just me. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think James Harden, he's gonna make the Clippers that great? Do you think he really puts them over the top? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below.